The crossover segment keeps getting hotter and hotter every year, and the Ford Escape has always been a major player in it. It has been completely redesigned for 2020, and this right here is a high-end hybrid titanium model coming in at around $36,000. We're going to take a tour of it here today, so a big thanks to Coons of Baltimore for letting us take a look at this vehicle, and also if you like this video, please consider liking and subscribing to Gas Guzzlers. So let's get into it.
Now for this 2020 redesign, I really like the way this Ford Escape looks. First off, the most notable feature I think is this grille. It's really clean looking and it makes it look like a catfish. It looks like a catfish mouth and I really kind of like that. It's all clean. There's no aggressive edges. It's not an aggressive sports car. It's supposed to look kind of clean and classy and it looks new and refreshed. All the angles kind of come forward into this catfish looking grille and I really like that. Another thing I like are these kind of bug looking headlights. There are absolutely no sharp angles to these headlights except the one up here. Everything else is kind of round, almost like a fly's eye, and I really dig the way these headlights look. Another interesting thing to note down here is you have this nice black trim that continues along the side of the car, and I'll show you that now. Now this black trim that started at the front near the grille wraps all the way around the wheel. I really like that. And then it comes along the side to this nice little texture here. That's a nice addition Ford added. It's like this rubberized texture. Jake said it kind of looks like the inside interior. I don't see that too much, but it's nice how they added that. Another thing to note, these rims, they're solid looking rims. Honestly, I prefer less spokes for my rims personally, but I like kind of the silver and the black contrast. That looks really nice. And another thing to note is this white color is absolutely stunning. It sparkles in the sun. I really like that. Now, this black trim here is kind of consistent with the black trim that comes along the side here. And then you also have this nice chrome strip that outlines the windshields. I really like that. And then you have this nice window back here for extra visibility when you're driving and you need to look out your rear 3/4. Again, coming around to the back of this car, this black trim that wraps around the wheels and the front by the grille comes all the way back here. And again, this texture that we saw in the side under the doors matches up with this back here under the trunk, which is really nice because not only is it the same texture, so you have that nice consistency from Ford, but it is this nice hardcore rubberized material. So when you're throwing in stuff in the back, like suitcases or whatever, you're not gonna scratch paint because it's not paint, it's some hardcore rubberized material. I really like that, that's nice. Another thing I like about this back are these taillights. They're kind of simple, nothing too special. I like how they kind of wrap around the side, but one thing I do really like about them is this L-shaped part matches up with this L-shaped part in the back of the car too. This reflector and this match up perfectly, and it's kind of like this nice consistent L shape. You know, it's easy to the eyes, and I like how they did that. I like how that consistency kind of works with, just like how this rubberized texture matches with the side of the car, and along how this black trim wraps around all along the sides. Another interesting thing to note is this Escape badging looks really cool. It's kind of like Tron because the letters are really condensed here, but spread out here versus being really close in here, and then it would have looked kind of weird with the Ford badge here and then your letters only here. This way it's kind of nice and spread out. It looks really clean. I like that look. Going under this black trim here, you have this solid kind of aluminum type material, and then you have these weird exhaust tips. The real exhaust tip is the small tube, and it's in the middle of this bigger exhaust tip. I don't know why they couldn't have just made the exhaust tip bigger to start. If they're gonna do fake exhaust tips, that doesn't make sense to me. I'm not sure why they did that, but at least it's not as fake as they can be, like when they go under the car and then the exhaust tip is here. But besides that, it's a really clean back end, and I really like how this taillight matches up with that. That's really cool.
Looking into interior space in the trunk, I thought that you would not have a lot of space because of the legroom I had up front, but I was actually pleasantly surprised to find that there is about 35 cubic feet of cargo space with the back seats up and about 61 with them down. As you can see, this being the titanium model, we do have the power lift gate, which you can control from your key. So that is a very good use of space. You have your spare tire under this load floor right here, so plenty of space to haul around cargo.
So under the hood of this Ford Escape, you can find a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder engine. And in the back is a briefcase-sized 1.1 kilowatt hour battery. Now this comes together to make a hybrid engine engineered by Ford to make 198 horsepower and 152 pound-feet of torque. This gives you about 40 miles per gallon, which is very impressive for this hybrid engine. And this is mated through a continuously variable transmission, or also known as a CVT.
Speaking of that hybrid system, that means this vehicle can be silent when running on its electric motor. So it makes a nice little noise so that pedestrians behind it know that it's coming. Take a listen. Now here we are in the interior of the all-new Escape, and my overall impressions are pretty positive here. First of all, on your door panel, you have this very nice wood trim here. That wood trim carries on throughout the vehicle. You also have it right here on your dash. That is very nice. Also on your door panel, you have these interesting little triangles right here, these diamonds. I really like that. Even though this is just a boring plastic material, it is somewhat soft touch. It's like a rubberized material. They do at least put in some nice design to it. I also like that they put these little metal tips on the window switches. Putting little tips like that on switchgear makes a huge difference in a vehicle and makes it feel so much more premium. You have a nice leather armrest right there that's very padded, very nice. You also see you have your Bang & Olufsen sound system right here. It's a good sound system. All the Fords, almost all the higher end Fords use it now. Very nice. Looking in front of you, probably the biggest negative point about the driver's area of this car is your steering wheel. This material does not feel very nice. It's like a very rough leather. I would prefer for it to be smoother, but still, you know, if that's your biggest problem with the interior, then it's doing pretty good so far. You have a nice big screen right here in the center that we'll talk about in a second. And then you also have your Sync 3, which we'll go into more detail later. Overall, the interior of this car is very nice. You have some more of this black fake wood right here, which is a very premium, nice feeling material. And you also just have nice metal accents like around your gear shifter, and you have this nice leather armrest. Your seats are very nice, soft leather. Sitting in them feels very comfortable. And you also have like nice little touches, like some texturing on your knobs, some rubber texturing. So again, a very nice vehicle interior from a materials perspective. So now we're going to take a look at your center stack area here. Let's start up top with your Sync 3 system. You do have it's popped out from the center area. I kind of like this look. I know a lot of people think it looks cheap, but I like it because it's right in your line of sight when you're driving. Cole noted in our F-150 review that there is quite a bit of lag in this system. You can see as I switch, especially like navigation, there is some lag, but it is not terrible. I do like that they use glass as the cover on this screen. A lot of automakers use plastic, and I hate just touching at plastic. Touching this glass feels so much nicer and so much more premium, especially that's important because this is an area you're going to be touching a lot. A really nice feature of this system is the navigation. A lot of automakers, their navigation looks like it was made in 2008, 10 years ago or whatever, but Ford's does look much more modern than most of the competition, so I will give them credit where credit is due. You do have Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Moving down from here, you have your radio controls. You have nice physical radio controls. The knobs are very nice. They're rubberized. You have this metallic sort of outline. I think this looks very nice, and you will also find pretty much the only piano black you will find in this interior. I really like that, and I really like these air vents. You can see they have these nice metal tips to them. I think that looks super premium. They feel super premium. I like how stiff they feel. You have this nice little metal bit right here. Again, for a $36,000 car, this is very impressive. With this, materials like this wood, I really, really like that. Moving down, you do have more of this rubberized material, and when you have your climate on, it will actually show you what the temperature is in the dial. It's not as well integrated as like GM's version or Audi's version, but it is still very nice. We do have heated seats on this model right here. You can see you have all your temperature controls right here. I do feel a bit like Ford just kind of made a whole big plastic stack of buttons right here, which I don't like, but that's not really a major complaint. I still like it because it's very functional. Now, something interesting to note is up here, your start button is just in a very weird place. Like you almost have to push sideways to start it. Just sort of something interesting I thought I would tell you about. Moving down, you have lots of rubberized storage. This area is perfect to place your phone. You have a 12-volt outlet right down here, and I like that they even outlined that in like this little metal trim. That is a very premium touch. You also have a USB-C outlet right down there with a little bit of lighting around it so you can easily access it. Then you have your hockey puck shifter right here. I don't really like these. I get they do it to save space and make the interior look more sleek though. And then you have your cup holders. I like that the cup holders have these little friction points right here, which make sure that your drinks are held nicely. Then you have some extra buttons for different parking assistance features and whatnot. Let's take a look in your glove box right here. You can see for such a small car, you have a sizable amount of space. Just to give you an idea, here's my hand. I can fit, it's pretty much one hand deep. It's very nice. You have a USB-A outlet in there, so that is definitely a nice feature. You also have 2 pen holders. So this is a very well-designed center stack. Let's take a look at your driver's area. So let's take a look at your center driver display right here. It is a very crisp, very clean, and extremely simple display. You have your speed on the left. This is the hybrid model, so you have some battery information on the right. And then in the center, you just have your basic trip information. So right now I have fuel economy up. Using these buttons on your steering wheel right here, you can easily just look at your basic information. There's not a whole lot to look at here. It's not going to give you all sorts of confusing, weird graphs. It's just going to give you the basic information what you need when driving in a very crisp, very clear display. I like that a lot. And just for an idea of what it looks like while driving this car, I'm going to hold this to my eye level. And as you can see, you have great visibility out here. Your A-pillars are very nice and small, even though they do come out kind of far, but you just have very good visibility in here. Now, sitting here in the back of the Escape, it is actually far more comfortable than I thought it would be. These seats are both positioned to about the same position where our cameraman Colin would be if he were driving the vehicle, and he's about as tall as I am, and I have plenty of legroom, as you can see. I'm very pleasantly surprised. I thought I was going to be scrunched back here with this being such a small vehicle. I have plenty of room. You have 2 air vents back here that are nice and easily accessible. And by the way, I have removed my shoes as it's very muddy outside and there is no floor mat back here. But you just have very nice knobs, very nice materials, nice rubberized air vents. You have a full-size 110-volt power outlet back here. You have nice metal door handles. Even the little piece that tells you if the car is locked or unlocked is this nice metal material. That is very nice. Again, you have your chrome-tipped switch gear, and then you also have that nice diamond pattern continuing back here. Not too many gimmicks back here, but what you are getting is a very comfortable seat, plenty of legroom, and a generally nice place to be.
So wrapping up this review of this beautiful white 2020 Ford Escape Titanium Hybrid. Big thanks to Coons in Baltimore for letting us film this. We really like the car. We like the updated exterior. The 2020 refresh really brought a new life to the interior as well. We're hoping for a new Sync 3 update, just like how the Mach-E has for 2020, because it is a little slow and outdated. But besides that, this is a great car, great powertrain, and it is definitely a good buy. Definitely a good refresh by Ford. If you like this video, like and subscribe, and have a good week.